Hey guys, welcome to Judge Jodi, Paxton Road's Premier League Player Ratings show. Another crazy week in the world of Tottenham Hotspur. Life at Tottenham really is like a box of chocolates. You never really know what you're going to get, right, Sean?
Absolutely, but you wouldn't have it any other way.
Oh man, what a week, guys. Tonight I've got Sean back. Sean's with me, Paxton's own Sean Hotspur Hurley, 61, back in the house. How you doing? How you doing, buddy?
I'm feeling much better having seen my team secure 3 points. I wish they'd done it in a much more convincing way, but yeah, it's all good, all good.
Good. That's good. I know. That's happy Sean is what we want. And a happy Jody is what we want. We don't want miserable, sad people in this house. But yeah, we're happy. It could have been a lot worse, definitely. But we won. We got those points. We got 3 points. So yeah, what more can you ask for, I guess? I guess we're going to get into the players, Sean. But I guess when you first saw that lineup, what were your thoughts? Like, not I guess we kind of thought we were going to have a different one because of what's coming up in the middle of the week. But what was your sort of overall thoughts about the game and the lineup and all that kind of stuff?
When I saw the lineup, I knew it was a risk. I understood why the risk was being taken. On 49 minutes, when the second goal went in, I thought, oh dear, this is not going to go very well. And we are going to suffer. I mean, the gloating from the other end, the dark end of N5 would have been unbearable, but we showed some
Yeah,
resilience, and Conte went against his usual script, and substitutes were good, and
yeah, yeah.
makes a difference.
Yep, definitely. I think we're probably scraping the barrel now with our squad selection. I think in terms of, fit players and who we've got. But I think from the very beginning, I've always said that we needed to massively upgrade our defense, and I think yesterday was definitely like, yeah, definitely showing, and we'll get into that, Sean. I'm sure we will. I
Mm.
think we had a lot of players rested for Tuesday night's game, and I think we all knew that was kind of what was going to happen. So for me, I don't think it was a massive surprise the lineup. Like, I wasn't happy with it, but like I think we all probably knew what was going to happen based on who we had available. But again, yeah, game of two halves. I think like it seems to be the way with Tottenham. Game of two halves. Once the Benton cause and the light came on the pitch, I think we saw a massively different game. And I think for me, like mentally, it was a very mentally exhausting game for those guys because of kind of what happened on Wednesday night last week, and then what's going to happen kind of going into the Champions League this week. I think a lot of them were probably just mentally sort of not even thinking about that Bournemouth game for me. Like, I think their mind was kind of elsewhere. It was either maybe back on Tuesday or back on Wednesday or forward to Tuesday, and maybe thinking, I don't want to get injured, or just kind of thinking like, like this game doesn't really matter for me. Like, we just need to move forward to Wednesday night, or sorry, Tuesday night this coming week. So that's kind of how I thought it. I just felt their heads weren't really in it for me, and I think we saw that. But
Yeah, I suppose I've kind of set them two targets. Is by the World Cup, which is the other factor as well. Um, we um,
yeah,
we
yep,
need to be through in the Champions League and within touching distance of the top four.
yep.
And we are struggling on both fronts as it gets really close to the World Cup. So I don't know. It's a tough one. It's been a tough one for a few weeks now. I have my
Mm,
own theory about the loss of Giampiero Ventroni having a massive
hmm.
impact across the club from
Yeah,
coach to players, and you know maybe there's something in that. Grief affects people in so many different ways,
mm.
and yeah, we're hanging on in there. Resilience showed yesterday, and
It
a touch of
definitely,
class, a touch of
and a touch of class.
Uruguayan
We'll get
class.
to that. A touch of very, very special class. Yes, and we will get into that. Cool. So before we get into it, guys, please make sure you like and subscribe to Paxton Road. We really appreciate it. And again, you know the deal. Tell us what you think about the players as well. Tell us what you think the guys deserve for the ratings. It's not just Sean and I; it's all you guys. All you guys have a say in what goes down here. So please let us know what you have to say. NS Sports TV, hi buddy, welcome back. So good to see you. We absolutely hate each other as a club, but something that brings us together is our hatred towards Woolwich. Yeah, wasn't great for us today. That Arsenal score, was it 5-0? 5-0, was that what it was? Oh, those guys, they can't stop at the
I
moment.
have shades of Leicester here. It's terrible, you know.
I don't know. Man City have got to stop them, I think. That's the only ones I think that's going to be able to stop them. But
Mm.
yeah, hopefully they do. All right, guys, let us get into the ratings. We are here for the ratings. I'm going to share my screen and bring up what we have to say. I think it was, I don't know. I don't know what we're going to say about this one, Sean, because it was a tale of two halves. So it's going to be very interesting to see what we have to say. First up, obviously, we have Hugo. Hugo Lloris. We are agreeing on Hugo. Sixes. Sixes all round for our Hugo Lloris. I'll start by saying for me, I think it's a much better day from what we've seen. I think he had some nice saves there to deny Tavernier. Is it Tavernier? Tavernier.
Mm.
Can't pronounce his name, Tavernier. But he had some nice saves there. I think obviously coming off the goal line again a few times there. I think for me that's something that I just find a bit risky, and I don't like it when Hugo does that. But he held it, he held his own, and I think he did well. I think second half obviously was pretty quiet for him. But yeah, I think in terms of the goals, really, I just think the back line should have done much better for him, and I don't really think he could have done too much for those personally. So I think for me it's six, but what do you think? What are you saying, Sean?
Well, as people who've seen me before know, six is my you take your wages happily this week. And Hugo, I thought even in coming off his line, which he did had to do a couple of times, he obviously learned his lesson and just booted
Yeah.
the ball away. He could do nothing about the goals. He was left exposed by the inadequacy of the cover in front of him. And, when he had to make a save, he made the save. So, well done, Hugo. He must be having a bit of a tough time. You could tell from the way he departed the pitch the other day straight away after his howler. He was, he was, he's obviously feeling it a bit,
Yeah,
and I do
definitely.
feel, we are starting to see the beginning of the decline of Hugo Lloris,
Mm,
and it's going to be sad when he's going to be replaced, but replaced he must be.
yep. Yeah, it will come a day when that happens. Yeah, I just don't know, and I know I just don't know if Foster's up for it, but I think we do need to give him a chance personally.
Hmm.
I
Actually,
just don't know.
Forster would have been yesterday would have been a good chance to give Forster a game. I
Mm,
think.
yeah, it would have been definitely. Oh, well, we'll see. We will see. Right, let us move on to Davinson Sanchez coming back in. Oh, I don't know. I'm a bit scared to put this one. Sean, what are we doing about Sanchez? Oh no, 4-3. I'll let you go first, and I'll clean up the mess.
Yeah, not a great day for Davison. What he was doing at that first goal, I don't know, where he appeared to sort of like try and act as a draft excluder to prevent the ball across the penalty area. I don't know what was going
Yeah,
on
I have
there.
no idea what he was doing.
Um, his passing was not progressive. It was. I mean, I just
Mm.
he was just
He's
not good.
struggling, isn't
Just
he?
not good.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. I think for me, it's consistency. I think because like what was it last season? I'm trying to remember now, but last season he was doing really well for us because he was consistently on the pitch. When I say doing really well, I mean doing really well for Sanchez and doing really well and surprising us as a fan base. I think for kind of um I think he was holding out the back line for us a lot last season, and I think now
Mm,
because he's not had a lot of time, maybe it's the consistency thing potentially. I also think he struggles when Dyer's not on the pitch with him. I think he doesn't really do well without sort of. I think he needs somebody who's going to like command orders and like make kind of orders and stuff to him, and obviously Dyer wasn't there to do that for him yesterday. But that first goal didn't have anything to do with that, really. That was just Sanchez not. Yeah, I don't know. I honestly don't know what was going on with that first goal. I think it's consistency, maybe potentially.
A-
Don't
And
know.
also between him and Royale, they didn't deal with the second goal. You know that the
Well,
chief
yeah,
of more.
exactly. It was both of
Yeah,
them for that second
yeah,
one. Yeah,
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 yeah. So
yeah,
it was.
yeah, yeah.
They
Both
are
both
they are a
goals.
bomb scare on our right hand side, I'm afraid.
Yeah,
But I do believe he does play better with Dyer. There's a
yeah,
language issue, and maybe
yeah.
Dyer being able to communicate with him in Spanish helps. Obviously,
Mm,
he had Longley there yesterday, so that was
yeah,
lost.
yeah. Yeah,
But
and
anyway,
I think he needs somebody like Dyer to kind of command orders and stuff to him as well. And I
mm,
feel like every time he doesn't play with Dyer, he doesn't have that, and he can't think for himself sometimes. Maybe I don't know.
yeah,
That's
and
sort of.
I mean, from what I understand at Colombia, he's definitely the junior partner to Mina. At Everton. When
Mhm,
Mina's
mhm.
there, he plays better for
Yeah,
Colombia. When Mina's
yeah,
not there,
yeah,
it's a horror show.
yep, yep. And as Sports TV, you're being too kind, Sanchez. I'm giving him a 0. Oh dear. Oh dear. Okay, right. Let's move on. We gotta move on. Clement Longley, 6.5 and a 5. I will just quickly defend my 5 by saying I think he looked really good in the center of the back three. I think there's maybe a bit of a blip at the beginning, which led to the first goal for me. But other than that, I think he did look good. I just don't think he did anything spectacular. And I think Sean, we've said before, like your leveling out kind of score is a 6, mine's a 5. So I feel like it's not a terrible score, and that he didn't do anything like he did something terrible. I just feel like he showed up. Um, I think he made some decent tackles. He saw quite a bit of the ball, but yeah, I guess we did concede 2 goals, and I think the defense for me is not great. So yeah, it's a 5. That's kind of what I'm saying.
Mm.
What do you think?
No, I didn't see him at fault in the goal, but that's maybe just my interpretation of it. But I thought he was very competent on the ball. His passing was by far the best, and I mean, he's a more than able deputy for Dyer in the centre. And interestingly, when Dyer came on and took Sanchez's role,
Mm.
Dyer became an interesting, you know, augmented fullback at times as well, which like Romero does his little wanders up the field.
Yeah.
Dyer was doing those as well and created chances. There was a Son chance I remember, which came down from a
Mhm.
cross by Dyer. Dyer's probably our best right wing back.
Yeah.
Maybe, who
Yeah.
knows? Who knows?
Wow. Well, who knows? Maybe.
He has played that role. In fact, he made his debut for us as a right back. So
Yeah. Well,
yeah, who
Conte maybe
knows?
needs to.
We'll see. We'll see.
We will see. It's
For me, he
all
was
a
the
it's
best.
all
He
a
was the best of the back three.
I don't know. Was he? Was he? Was Ben not better? Anyway, let's get on to Ben. Shall we get on to
Well,
Ben?
maybe he is. I don't know. And he didn't do much to disgrace himself.
Well, I think you did. I think for me, for Ben, we're moving to Ben now. I thought he was the well, I don't know. I don't know. I'm trying to decide. I think for me, Ben obviously got the goal, so I bumped him up for that. But I think in terms of kind of what Langley did, he maybe was the better of the back three. But I think in terms of Ben Davies, I think obviously he was trying to get us forward, but I think defensively maybe he wasn't so good yesterday. But then obviously the whole defense was kind of shaky from my perspective. So yeah, I don't know.
Ben gets a 6 for me because he gets a half point for scoring.
Yeah. Well, that's why I bumped him up. So yeah, I think yeah, I think one of three as well. So I think for me, like he was trying to get forward. He had like 3 shots on, 3 shots. One of them was on target. One of them obviously led to the goal. Um, but yeah, it wasn't it by any means. It was not like the best day for Ben and the whole defense from my perspective. Um, let's have a look and see what's going on here. So, David Clark, welcome back to the show. Good to see you. As always, hi from Leicester. Um, Spurs ladies played well. Yeah, 8-0. 8-0 today for the ladies. They know what's going on. Sean and I were talking about that earlier. So, yeah, it was a good day for the ladies. We're not talking about ladies today, unfortunately. We're talking about our boys. What are you saying? Langley 7.5. No fault for the goal. Davies was the main culprit for that goal. The only defender who can pass the ball. Okay. Might have got that one wrong there. Thank you, David. Ellington, welcome back, my friend. So good to see you. Ben did well and had shots on target. Seven shots on target? Oh,
No,
sure.
maybe it's 7 out of 10.
Oh, you're giving him a 7.
I'm interpreting that. Sorry, Ellington, if I've got that wrong.
I think so. I think that's probably what you're saying. I think that's probably what you're saying. Davies 5. His fault for the goal. He can't surpass the wind. Yeah. How do peeps come on your Spurs? Yes. Come on your Spurs. All right, guys. Let's move on. Let's move on to a lot of people's favorites. Emerson Royal. What are we saying, Sean? 3.5 and a 3. Oh, Emerson. You could go and then I'll go if you want. Or do you want me to go? I don't mind.
He was not very good.
No.
That's it. And
Emerson.
the memes about his first half shot are the funniest thing about yesterday. I mean,
what was that though? Let's break that down. What was that?
I think
What was
he
going on
thought.
there?
I think for some minute he thought he was Cafu.
Oh, bless
But he
him.
was more like, I don't know,
Yeah,
something
he
not
really
very
wanted that
good.
ball to go in, didn't he? It was a lot of power. It's just not.
I think I tweeted something along the lines. It's the first UK satellite since Brexit. It's just entered into lower orbit. I'm sure I can see it
Should we
out
start
the
calling him?
window here.
Start calling him Moon Boots now.
Oh God, good
Moon
God,
Boots
yeah.
Royale. But there's honestly, not much to say about him. So many mistakes. I think for me, the thing that annoyed me the most, other than that, was the fact that Kane was making so many good shots up to him. There were so many good passes that I saw Kane make, and he was just messing them up the whole time. And I just thought, like, uh, what are you doing? I saw at least 2 or 3 really nice passes from Kane up to Emerson, and he messed them all up. So for me, that was wasn't great. I think he was at fault for both of the goals as well. Like we said, he had a part to play in the first one, but the second one definitely
He was
fell down
absent
to him.
without leave for the first one, just for
Yeah,
certain, yeah.
yeah,
And the second one, he just never got anywhere near the man. Never got
no,
anywhere near him. So
no, and I think the comments are speaking for themselves, Lloyd. Oh my god. I don't know if that's an emoji or but yeah. Emerson 2.5. Yeah. Ellington, I found the ball in my garden this morning from Emerson shot. Oh god, you can sell that one for a lot of money, I think, Ellington. All right, let's move on from this guy. Let's move on. We need to move on. Ryan Sessegnon. All right, guys, what are we saying? A 6 and a 5.5. Oh, Sess. For me, not a great game, really. Like there were parts of the game I thought were okay. Like he was driving us forward, like he tends to do. I think. I just think lacking in that game. And obviously, like Conte thought he was lacking because he was going to bring him off just before his goal, I think, which saved him. But not a lot from my perspective, other than kind of a little kind of forward and stuff, but not much else. I know you kind of have a lot to say about Seth sometimes, Sean. So I don't know, what do you think about that game yesterday?
um, I am so frustrated by Ryan Sessegnon. I mean, to put it mildly, he came with such high hopes. He was such a dynamic left-sided
Yeah,
player. I really thought he would take to the game with us really, really well. Obviously, he arrived injured, which was
yeah,
an issue. But he's just too. I mean, I lost count of the number of times I used the F word in the first half when Ryan Sessegnon was touching the ball. His crossing his
It's the
crossing
crossing. Yeah,
is
Ellington's taken.
worse.
Yeah.
It's worse than Reguilon. I mean,
Mm,
and he supposedly displaced Reguilon, um,
mhm.
and who's been sent back to Spain and hasn't been seen.
I wasn't the biggest Reguilon fan, to be fair. I always
No,
called upon
no,
Cesc
but I mean,
for him, but like, yeah, it's
I think Reguilon's problem was in the boxes, our box and their box. He would never have taken on the shot that Sessegnon finally did to score his goal, which he had
yeah.
plenty of opportunities to do. He would rather try and appeal for a penalty than, but no, he was. I mean, he was rubbish. I'm sorry, and he's only got the point thing because he scored, and he
Mm,
did
that's what I think.
what I
Yeah,
expect from Ryan
yeah,
Sessegnon.
yeah,
Um, and
yeah.
I just, he's just so timid. So timid.
Mm,
He wouldn't
mm.
say boo to a goose. He's frightened of his own shadow at times, and yet he's he's a physical
He's a big
specimen.
guy, yeah,
Yeah, and
yeah,
you think, he should be having fullbacks on toast, and he
yeah.
just doesn't do it for me. And I,
Mm,
I think he won't be around for much longer. I think it looks like we've
mm.
got an upgrade on him playing for Udinese at the moment. So
Yeah, that's true.
um, I'm not, I'm not,
You're not sold.
I'm not sold, and I'm not happy about that. I am broken-hearted about that. I
Yeah,
want
I am
local
as well.
talent, to be in our team as much as the international stars. But
Yeah,
yeah,
I really like Cesc, but I agree. I think the timidness and stuff like that is definitely showing. And he comes up with goals, but they're in really weird and random times, and they're kind of fluky goals. Like it's not like he's kind of,
having
he,
said that, I mean, it was at the end of probably the pass of the game from Pierre-Emile Højbjerg, who doesn't get the credit that he does for some of his creative stuff. That was an
yeah,
incredible pass. If you look at it again,
yeah,
um,
it was,
but
yeah, yeah,
I'm sure Sessegnon's shot gets a deflection and he hits it with the inside of his ankle rather than his foot. So even in his technique, it wasn't brilliant in that. So
yeah.
sorry, I call
I
it as I
know.
see it.
David's saying 4.1, one for the goal, and he keeps his shirt clean. Yeah, he does. He does have a very clean shirt. Ellington wing back system fails because we don't have great wingers. Well, yep, that's that's the story of our life right now.
On both sides, I would say. On both
Yeah,
sides.
and
Yeah.
I thought maybe left we could get away with this season, and right not so much. But it's kind of proving not so well on both sides from both
Yeah.
Perisic's
Yeah.
yesterday.
Yeah.
Lloyd, you said 7. You meant 6. Okay. Do you think he's more of a fullback than a wingback? Sessegnon.
No, he should be more, he's more of a wing back. It's where he played in Germany, but that's why we sent him away to Germany to learn the role. So I think it's, no, he is a wing back more than a fullback.
Perisic should be doing a masterclass on how to cross in training. Yeah, he does cross a lot better. That's for sure.
Mm.
Right, let us move on to Højbjerg. Emil Højbjerg, a 6.5 and a 6. Probably one of the better players on the day for me. Obviously, good to see him back. Got the assist like we spoke about for Cess, which was a very, very good assist, as you were saying, Sean. I think he was also one of the ones that was kind of trying to show up for us when we were looking flat. Like, obviously, that first half was
Mm.
diabolical, and I think that as Højbjerg tends to do, he was probably one of the only ones that was sort of trying to kind of show up for us on the day.
Yeah,
What?
I think he showed leadership skills yesterday
Yeah,
and didn't hide, which was, um, that's fine.
more of a sling black. Oh, David.
I think David's that says more about you than it says about Sessignon.
Oh, shots fired there, Sean. No. Ellington, Mr. Consistent 8. Are we talking about Højbjerg here?
Yeah, I think
This
yeah.
for the goal. Yeah, I think you are. Yeah, I don't know. I just felt like the scores weren't warranting high scores this match just because of the game. But I do think he's probably got the highest score. Not giving anything away here, guys. But for me, I think Højbjerg probably got the highest score on the day just because it wasn't great, really. We kind of showed up in the last 25 to 30 minutes maybe of the match. But yeah, Højbjerg for me definitely showed up. Um, Anything more about Højbjerg for you, Sean? Or
No, I mean, yeah. I mean, as I say, I think people really need to see him in the stadium to appreciate his work. TV doesn't do him any favors. I've said that before. He's much more of a leader, and and kind of pulls the team along. So and you get to see that a lot of the sort of off the ball stuff that he does is quite incredible. So yeah,
yeah,
all
he is.
good.
He's such an important player. Like I just feel like he's such a Marmite kind of player for people, and that you either love him, you hate him. I personally really love him, and I think that he shows up all the time for us, and he's just got such an important role. So yeah, yeah. You could. I just felt like for me, the scores weren't warranting high scores for yesterday's match, just based on kind of the way
Hmm.
that the game went down. But I can see the eights. Like, yeah, fair enough, guys. Like, I think like I said, he was the better player on the day for me, other than probably one other that we'll get to later. But yeah, he's probably one of the better players for me on the day. Right, let us move to Basuma. 6 and a 5. Sean, you want to go first? You want me to go
Yeah, I mean,
first?
I think Basuma seems to be getting a lot of unnecessary grief on Spurs Twitter. Surprise, surprise. It can be the most reactionary stuff
Mm.
on there. But I thought he battled away as best he could. But it's when you've got static forwards like Lucas Moura to try and find,
Yeah.
it's difficult to do things when no one's moving for you. And I think there's something to be said about how we seem to receive the ball without the ability to turn, or not on the move, or it's not it's not
Mm.
brilliant. It's not brilliant, no.
Yeah, I mean, for me, a 5, like, and yeah, a 5 for me is not a bad score. Like, it's a score for showing up for me. I just don't think he did anything really offensive to me. Like, he didn't do anything to kind of warrant a really good score or to not warrant a really good score. I don't really recall anything kind of noteworthy that he did yesterday for me. I think it's really disappointing, really, because um, I just feel like I don't actually know who he is yet. I don't think he's got an identity at Spurs. I just think that for me, I don't really know what entirely is going on there. Like he hasn't had much opportunity. He's only kind of really just started coming in and starting games for us. So yeah, I just feel like he's still trying to find his place in the team personally. And for no fault of his own really, other than sometimes yeah he does pick up a yellow quite easily. Obviously not in this game, but I think yeah I just feel like he's still trying to find his feet really, and he's just trying to kind of find himself. So I kind of gave him a 5 just because he didn't do anything wrong, he didn't do anything to really stand out for me.
Mm.
That's kind of what I said. And when I was looking at the stats, I'm big on my stats. There was only one, and it was like one tackle, and that was all I found for him. So the stats are also showing that he didn't really do much personally. Like so,
Mm.
yeah, that was
I
kind of
mean,
my.
as I say, it's I think that's a fair assessment, Jody. To be honest, I think you know he's probably a player who needs a run of games, and at the moment he's not going to get a run of games because the two people in midfield ahead of him are ahead of him. They're just ahead of him. They've got it. They know how to play the Conti system, and he's going to have to take his opportunities when he can. But I'm hoping that we'll see more rotation, particularly as the season unfolds.
Mm,
Post Christmas and what have you. Um, and we'll get to see more of the Basuma that we loved at Brighton.
yeah, and I think, and this is the thing, like David's saying that Conte doesn't, Conte's controlling him. Like it's the tactical nature of the game, and I think that's the thing, isn't it? Like I think Basuma doesn't get the freedom to kind of do what he does, like you say, like you're saying, we can't see what he was like when he was at Brighton because of the whole tactical nature, and that's, I think, the whole reason why he's not been starting games. So yeah, um, yeah, like you say, hopefully, into the next half of the year we'll see more of it. But yeah, it's a bit of a shame, really, because I think a lot of us were probably expecting him to come in and hit the ground running. But as a lot of us know, that doesn't happen with a Conte team. Uh, we need to rely on the system. So
And look how long it took Ericsson to get the trust of Conte when he went to Inter. And that
yeah,
should be
yeah, it's
that should be
true.
a lesson for us all, really.
Yeah, yeah, and Dave is right. Then you see the true Basuma when Conte's gone. So that might be true for some of our players. Right, let us move on to Mr. Skip, Oliver Skip. Oh, we're matching again, Sean. Yeah, matching again. I think he was probably impressed with what he saw in the Newcastle game to start him, but obviously he didn't have a lot of choice either, did he? But yes, I mean, okay moments for me. Like, I think there was that nice shot at goal just before half time from him, but I, I don't know. He got subbed. Not a whole lot that he kind of did personally either. I think he did a little bit more than Basuma to warrant kind of a little bit of a higher score for me. But yeah, I don't know. Anything particularly to note for Skip? Again, it wasn't a lot for me personally, but
I mean, I think Skip gave the performance of a man that's returning to football after 9 months off, you
Newcastle.
know, and he's rusty,
Yeah,
um,
yeah.
and we all, we'll expect that. He was good against Newcastle, particularly early in the game. Yesterday, I don't think he reached those levels. But as you say, he had a one shot in the first half. I think we had two shots in the last 2 minutes. I think, which
Hmm.
was and considering we hadn't had a shot till about minute 42, I believe, from someone's podcast earlier, it does seem odd that I love Skip. I think he will be a great player for us, and it's about getting match fitness for him.
Yeah, definitely. Yeah, definitely. I think he's an important squad player for us.
Hmm.
And I think, yeah, not much more to say.
Yeah.
Right. Son, my boy Son, 6.5 and a 5.5. Oh my boy, my Sonny. Yeah, I mean, he had two of three shots, I think, on target. The corner led to Bentancur's goal, I think, but other than kind of those moments, second half, I think was a little bit better for him. His corners weren't great yesterday. I mean, obviously one of them led to the goal, so they were kind of hit and miss from my perspective. But I think they're a bit more miss than hit, I think, at the moment. But yeah, it's just, I don't know. I want to know what you have to think, because you rated him higher than me, and I just didn't think that he did a whole lot personally, other than kind of that kind of mini assist, I guess you
Um,
call it. But I mean, he had action, but he didn't pull off much. So
yeah, maybe in retrospect, I've probably overmarked Son in this particular case. I know there are those who will produce stats upon stats to say, Son's done this, X, 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 X. But, I'm sorry, I've been going to football since, I was 8 years old, and I'm now 61, going on 62. And there's something not right in the world of Heung-min Son. He doesn't transit with the ball as well as he was doing last season. His touch is not as good. He seems to be bullied. He's reluctant to go into 50-50s. Now, that could be a World Cup thing. And maybe
mm,
we'll see that in the second half. That is my hope, that
yeah,
season part two, we'll see the real Son,
yeah,
because he's not worried about the World Cup. But it is, he does carry that nation on his shoulders. So he does take that responsibility really seriously, and so he should. He's had a very good life out of football, and he's done some great stuff for us. But
Mm.
he's not the same. You cannot say he's the same player as last season. He just doesn't seem
No.
to be able to beat players as well. He doesn't, his touch, his passing. I mean, there's no doubt about it. That game against Arsenal, when he had two or three times to
Mm.
put Kane through, and he just ballooned the ball.
It's the finishing for me at the moment. It's
yeah,
I don't think he's having the most terrible game in terms of, like, he is getting the ball.
no,
He is getting access and he's doing
mm,
stuff, but I think it's the finishing, and it's
yeah.
now
I mean,
maybe
he,
a
sh- he, sh-
confidence
he should be.
issue.
He should have more goals than he's got.
Yeah. And
He
it is
should
like
have
for
more
me,
goals.
I do think that, like, the formation that I kind of it is different for him, and I think the fact that obviously, like, Kulusevski's stuff, like, he's not involved as much, and that probably does impact him. But you are right in that, yeah, it's not for Son. It's not great. Like, he needs to be stepping up more, and I think the finishing for me is definitely an issue, and I think the corners, um, they need work. They need a lot of work. We don't have people that can take good corners, and I've rated him up for his corners before, but I think they need work. Um, Ellington, you're saying it's a 7 from you for effort. 19 corners, we could have scored more. Yeah, I mean, the corners in that game yesterday, that 19, 22 corners or something like that. We could have definitely scored more from those.
But remember, Son didn't take all of them.
No, that's true. That's true.
Perisic got an assist direct to
Yeah.
Davis. So
Mm.
it's you know.
They need work in that area
I
massively.
mean, well, and I thought Son would be the answer to our free kicks on the edge of the box as well. But I mean, his
Mm.
opportunity yesterday, he barely got it above waist height.
Yeah.
It's like
Yeah.
it's it's
It's a very weird time, I think, in terms of the whole
mm,
World Cup situation and everything we've got going on. So hopefully,
yeah.
like you say, let's pray and hope and dream that next year after the World Cup, everything comes into place and
Hmm.
Son starts, maybe he can score 20 goals in the next second half of the year.
Well, if he has a Harry Kane like performance from last
Yeah.
season, then yeah, he could get into the 20s.
Yeah.
Um, I mean,
Mm.
it's funny that no one's talking about the drop off in form in Salah,
Yeah. Well,
and
yeah.
yeah, and exactly, he's probably just
Mm.
as bad as Sonny this year, and that again, that could be I don't know, World
Yeah.
Cup thing, not getting to the World Cup, whatever. It's
Yeah.
um,
Both
we'll
of those
see.
two. Yeah.
I
It's the
mean,
same.
this is a very very strange season.
It's very, yeah,
It
it
has
is.
to be. That's the only reason I can explain for Arsenal being top of the table.
You are very right in that one, Sean. All right, let us move on to Harry Kane, guys. 7 and a 6. You can go first with Harry, and then I'll clean up.
Yeah, I thought again another surprise. The amount of vitriol that Spurs fans were giving Kane on Twitter yesterday was unbelievable. I thought he led the line well. His passing was good. He never really got any opportunities apart from one where he got pushed in the back. I think it was for a header in the second half. It's you know it's I thought it was a very captain like performance. I
Yeah.
thought from Harry Kane, he led the line. He tried to create things. He's a nuisance in the box from corners, and yeah,
Hmm.
I thought he was quite solid, as uh, as Lloyd has said,
Yeah.
yeah.
Yeah. Yeah. Yeah. So the game 7. Yeah. Thank you, guys. Yeah, maybe I was a bit harsh with this one. Um, I do think that he was probably one of the only ones wanting to do something in that first half, personally. Like, I thought he was really
Hmm.
stepping up. I think, like I said before, I remember some really nice passes up to Emerson in that first half of the game where Emerson kind of
Hmm.
just missed them, and it was really frustrating to watch that. So I think also for Kane, that probably would have been quite a frustrating thing. I just don't think he had many moments where he can make things happen personally. I think one of 3 shots on target. I think just for Harry Kane, like, maybe again it's an expectation thing, and that's being a little bit harsh in terms of Kane. But yeah, I don't know. Maybe seven's more warranted from Kane. I don't think he performed badly at all. I think, like I said before, our rating scales are a little bit different. Your like mine leveling out is kind of a 5. I thought Kane did pretty well. So maybe 6.5 to 7 is probably better for Kane. But yeah, I don't know. I just don't really remember anything too massive other than kind of for me that first half. I think he did some really good stuff, and then I think towards the end there. Um, yeah, I don't know. David, you're saying 6. Glue to hold the team together. Yeah, and I think that's kind of what I'm saying. Like, I think he's very good at setting other players up at the moment, and I think he was doing that really well yesterday. Um, but yeah, Harry Kane led the line well. Now he did well and showed passion and aggression. Yeah, he did, and he got
Booked,
booked.
yeah.
He did.
He
He
got
did
he
get
got
booked.
booked, he got booked for dissent. Yeah, good on you, Harry, mate. Just stand up for yourself, fella. Good
7 for
man.
you, Ellington. Yeah. Yeah, I mean, where would we be without Harry Kane? I mean, it's just that classic relying on players all the time, and we shouldn't be in that
Mm,
situation, but that's where we are as a club, and it's frustrating.
mm.
It's very frustrating, but we have to rely on certain players. And Harry, at least we've got you, buddy. Right, Sean, we're gonna move on. I don't like to normally rate subs because there's not a whole lot to talk about, but I think this sub warrants a little bit of discussion from us. Rodrigo Bentancur, gonna rate this guy 8.5 and an 8. Yeah, what a player! What a player! Um,
What? I mean, hats off to Conte. Hats off to Conte first of all for substitutions which made an impact. Even Dyer
yeah,
came
definitely.
came up as and created chances as a
Mhm,
sort of wing back, kind of, although he was playing inside, the right centre back.
mhm, mhm.
Um, uh, although I don't really don't, I just can't go Lucas. I'm sorry about that, but this man, this man is the difference between a defeat and winning that game.
Yeah.
Not. I mean, literally, if you think about it, with a winning goal, but his all-round game was absolutely incredible. And if you get a chance to go on the internet and you see his touches, people cut up videos of his touches.
Mhm.
Everything he did was perfect,
It was,
absolutely
wasn't it?
perfect. And
Yeah.
I mean, barring a major fall off in form for me, I'm voting for him for player of the season. He's just
Mm,
incredible. I love him, absolutely love
yeah.
him.
Yep. But I agree. I think things just looked so much better, didn't they, when he came on?
Hmm.
Just like just the best decision ever, bringing him and Kulusevski in January
Yeah,
last
as I
year.
say, kudos to Antonio for that.
Yeah.
He's usually very poor on his substitutions, but
Hmm.
he got it spot on.
Yeah.
He took Emerson off, and that was brilliant. He took Sanchez off, and
Yeah.
again that was another good one.
Yeah.
But
Agree. I think it was the best decision ever. And yeah, and I think things just keep getting better and better with him. As we've seen, like the last few weeks, he's just been progressively like trying to get goals in, and like he's been getting there, and he's
he's been pressing as well.
yeah.
He's the one at the head of a press.
Hmm.
You know.
Yeah. Yeah.
Um,
He
but
is.
anyway, yeah. No, I
Nine
love
and a
him.
half for you, David. Not 10 because his celebrations are full. They need work. They do need work. Um,
Well, he'll need something iconic like the Sony camera one. I think maybe.
yeah. Did you see Conte's little weird celebration with Bentenko as well? He just kind of went up to him, and that was a bit weird. Benty, love him. Reminds me of Hoddle type player, comfortable on the ball, comfortable on both feet, gives calmness to the team and the match. For me, yeah, 10 out of 10. Wow. Yeah, I was thinking about a 10 really for Benton Core. I was just thinking I didn't give anyone a very high score in this one, but maybe I should have rated him fully up just to kind of show that this is what you need to do to get the job done. And to be honest, probably 9 or a 10 is warranted because he won the game for us basically with that goal. So feeling you there, Ellington. Well done.
Great cameo. A great cameo.
Yeah, love you, Bentoncourt. All right, we are going to move on to crime of the week. I don't think there's any surprises for anybody with what this is. And this is, yeah, I'm just going to bring it out. It's VAR, really. VAR and refereeing for Wednesday's Champions League game against Sporting. Harry Kane scored the penultimate last-minute goal. We would have been sent straight through in the Champions League. It was ruled offside. It was just scenes, right? Scenes. Not good, not great. I don't know if anybody, any Spurs fan is over it yet. I personally am not over it. I'm trying to get to sleep at night, but it's still not great. Sean, how are you feeling? Are you over it yet, or are you?
I think Danny Kelly said this perfectly on the Athletic this week, and he said that we were sold something on the grounds of that it would make decisions better. But now they've invested in this technology, they're micromanaging a game. They're absolutely micromanaging a game. And it's killing the joy. It is killing the joy. And if you cannot celebrate after a goal, and it's coming down to disputed lines drawn on a pitch, then I think the game is done. The game is done. They've just introduced it into the Scottish League, and that is, even 2 weeks in, it is causing all sorts of, hassle up here. I just, oh God, I just cannot go it at all, and it's ruining the game. Absolutely ruining the game. If we're being fair, we were knocked out of the Champions League in 2019 by Manchester City. I mean, it was ridiculous, but it doesn't, I would rather it was done away with. The only decent piece of technology, the goal line technology. That's it. That's really useful. The ball's over the net. That's what the game's about. Is about goals.
Yeah.
And I just think they've made. Do you know what they've taken power away from the referee on the pitch and given it to someone hundreds of miles away, and it's just killing the game. Killing the game.
I think the thing for me is the fact that we can't hear what they're saying. I think in other sports you have access to what they're talking about when they have VAR, like rugby, NFL, lots of other games. You get to hear what the referee is saying and the conversation that they're having between each other, and that doesn't happen in in the Premier League and football in general. And it just it kind of begs to question, why can't we hear the conversation that's going on?
I mean, the thing is, I mean, supposedly this is to stop the conversations down the pub. We were robbed, we was robbed. Under the old system, you won some and you lose some. And you just accepted it. That it would even itself out over there. But look at Bournemouth against West Ham. I mean, that was an absolute scandal. Take away our goal on Wednesday. Bournemouth West Ham this week was a scandal that West Ham's goal was allowed to stand when basically they were playing volleyball before they scored. It's shocking. Shocking.
I agree. What's David saying? Game is not all about goals. Defending is an art form. I know you wouldn't think so looking at our defense. That is very true, David. Ellington, well, if they hadn't given the goal, we would love. Yeah, it's an offside. We'll do it in France. Yeah. I mean, that's the thing. We celebrate it when it goes our way and we cry about it when it doesn't. But hey, that's football.
I just wish the referee on the pitch would make the decision, and the lines will make the decision.
Yeah. Yeah, agree. Right, Sean, we have a very, very, very important game on Tuesday night. We're playing Marseille. It's a win-all situation. What are your overall high-level thoughts? We're going to win it? I don't know. I'm scared.
I'm not. I have to say, I'm not very confident.
No,
We're
I'm not
not. We
either.
don't
Not
seem to be able to dominate a game for more than 30 minutes, and we've got 3 lots of 30 minutes to deal with. So I'm not confident. I'll be honest. I
Also, we
think
got Liverpool as well on the brain.
yeah.
The guys are, what they're thinking is.
Well, I think to be fair, Tuesday's more important because it's one of the 2
Yeah,
targets.
yeah.
I can't. it won't surprise me. I mean, you can't. You go into the final match day of a Champions League group, and all 4 teams could win the group. I'm assuming that means that we could be eliminated. Could we finish bottom or something? I don't know. I don't know how it's gonna work out. It's madness.
Yeah.
I really fear that it could be Europa League at best. I'm not confident of, to be honest.
Ellington thinks as long as Sanchez doesn't start, we'll be okay.
Oh, I think
Yeah.
Romero will be playing. He'll be patched
Yeah.
up,
Oh,
but
he
yeah.
has to be. He has to be. Definitely. Yeah, I agree with you. I'm not confident at all. Going into that Sporting game last week, I was giving it the big like 3-1s. We're gonna win this like 3-1, whatever. But nah, man, that's not happening this week.
I mean,
Yeah,
you've got a team full of ex-Arsenal players who will be motivated to spike us. You know, it's going to be
yeah.
horrible on Tuesday
It's
night. I'm not
it's
looking
a
forward to it
mental
one
thing as
bit.
well for these players. It's a
Hmm.
mental game, and they're not. We all know they can't really hack it mentally. I don't think a lot of them. So I don't know. We just have to hold on and hope to win it. But yeah, I don't know. I'm not confident. And we've got Liverpool on Sunday again. Liverpool are another one at the moment. Like. We should be winning
Doctor
this game,
Tottenham will
right?
see you now.
Well,
Doctor Tottenham will
exactly.
see you now.
We
They
should
haven't
be
won.
winning.
They haven't won away from home all season.
But you
Doctor
gotta,
Tottenham will see you now. Yeah.
Tottenham will be out, I think, on Sunday. I mean, I'm not gonna put that out there, guys, but it's classic Spurs, right? All of these chances that we could be
Tuesday will tell me
capitalizing on.
much more about Sunday, I think.
Yeah. Yeah, I think for me it's one game at a time at the moment, and it's the way that the Spurs players should be dealing with these things. One game at a time. You guys need to just kind of try and go in with a winning mentality. Not that you guys know what that is, but try and do that for each game, and let's just try and Um, dare I ask you what you think about Liverpool? You think we're going to win it, or are you just going to do one game at a time?
I think, as I say, I think I'll wait until Tuesday night and the result on Tuesday night before I make any thoughts about Liverpool.
Yeah. Ellington, we'll do it. Come on, you Spurs believe. Yes. Yes, we will do it. I wish I had that confidence, Ellington. I really do. David, our new sponsor is the NHS. Oh my goodness, you guys. Don't think about bins at the weekend. We focus on Tuesday. Yeah, 1,000%. We have to do that. We have to
Yeah.
focus on Tuesday. Guys, that's going to do it for tonight's show. Thank you everybody for being here. I loved having all you guys here. NS Sports TV, Lloyd as always, Kyle Patrick Vineyard. Going to give you guys all a shout out. We had David Clark as always. David, so good to have you here, buddy. Ellington, my bud, so good to have you, my friend, as always. Nuno Espirito Santo. I want to give you a shout out, buddy. Thanks for stopping by, Nuno. How are things going? I'd like to say we missed you, but yeah, we'll leave it at that. Guys, thank you so much for everybody for being here, giving us your ratings for the show. Sean and I really appreciated it, and yeah, have a little bit of thought to think about, like on our ratings as well. So thank you for that. Sean, I know we've got a very busy week as always on Paxton Road, so we've probably got the previews, reviews, and the
Yeah, it's preview Monday, review show after final whistle on Tuesday. There might be a talking points on Wednesday.
yeah.
And then I want to flag up that there's going to be a special show on the 15th of November. Keep an eye out for that. And we'll, there are plenty of content. Someone was asking earlier about World Cup. I'm
Mm-hmm.
sure
Oh
we'll have
yeah.
to fill the void that's World Cup.
Well, if you guys don't mind me talking about Australia, because they're in the World Cup, guys, maybe we'll have to have a
Do
sweepstake.
they play football in Australia? Of course they
We
do.
made
Of
it.
course they
We
do.
made it.
My nephews are big fans of Perth Glory, because they live in Perth. So yeah. So yeah,
Yeah,
we'll
let's get some
we'll
World Cup
we'll
stuff going on.
there will be some World Cup stuff to talk about. Hopefully not about injuries to our players whilst we're on duty, but yeah. and then Boxing Day will be here before we bloody know it.
Oh, don't even say that.
12:30, first kickoff, first game of the second half of the season is us against Brentford at their place. So,
Oh my goodness. I haven't even had my first pumpkin spice latte of the season, Sean. What are you saying?
oh,
Christmas?
yeah, honestly, I can't believe you go into
Uh,
Poundland and there's Christmas stuff in there, and I'm
I
thinking,
know.
oh well,
Sad, sad
such life.
times. But that is it. So, right. Well, guys, thank you so much for being here with us on a Sunday. Yeah, I think there's not much we can really say at the moment, other than we hope Spurs can push through. I hope wherever you guys are watching the game on Tuesday, you enjoy it and we smash it and everything goes well. Stay safe this week, guys. We really appreciate you being here. Please stick with us this week. Please chuck us a like, and we'll see you very, very soon. Come on, you.